Come in, come in, come in, come in. Y'all tell me how y'all doing today. Talk to me, talk to me. Come in, come in, come in. Come in, y'all. We just giving it a moment. And then we get started. Y'all talk to me. How y'all doing today? I'm just still writing some stuff down, y'all. Good evening. How are you? Is it Antoine or Anton? I'm not even gonna butcher your last name, okay? I'm not even gonna butcher it. But good evening to you. Good evening. Y'all come in, come in, come in. Like I said, y'all, I'm just if I'm looking down, I'm just writing some stuff down that's coming to my mind right now in the moment. Look, I wasn't gonna butcher your name. Did I at least get your first name right? Come in, come in, come in, come in, everybody. Antoine. Okay, okay, Antoine. Okay, okay. Look, my English pronunciation coming on out. I'm sorry, though. I wasn't gonna try your last. We gonna get started in just a moment. We just gonna wait until some more people come in, y'all, and then we'll get started. Come in, come in, come in. Just a moment, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get started in. People follow suit as they come. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. And again, I always say that thank y'all for tuning back in to Soaring Above It All with Laquanza, where the Soaring Above It All is always going to be the statement that no matter what you go through and no matter what you face, that you can truly come out of it on the other side of grace, on the other side where there's Jesus, on the other side where there's mercy, but it's no matter how dark, how deep, how ugly it is that you can truly come out of it, because there is somebody to be able to testify and say, you know what, I experienced that too, and I came out of it on the other side, or I'm coming out of a thing. So you can be in the process of coming out as well. So tonight I am so excited. We are so excited. I am excited for my both of my guests today. I have already enjoyed our conversation before actually this moment, to where I always have to say my thing, and my thing is I met Minister Donje probably actually met her in the last couple of years, but I had heard her sing one time, and I'm telling you, she sung like a angel, and I just cried and cried and cried and cried. The anointing had surely showed up, and now I got to meet her husband, Minister Benjuane, and I just have been enjoying him. He is a natural born pastor to his soul. A natural born pastor, and they are both comedians. I tell you what, they done had me laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. So if I laugh too much, y'all understand, right? So, and our topic tonight is going to be not easily broken when it is ordained by God. So their marriage was not easily broken. Their bond with each other was not easily broken. So with all of that being said, and I said my things, I want y'all to give a comment, clapping emoji in the comment section to be able to welcome Minister Donje and Minister Benjuane into the building. Woo! Hey y'all!
Good evening.
Hey.
How you doing this evening?
Y'all been doing all right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Oh, thank you. I didn't even hear you. Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm doing very, very, very good. It's been a nice week so far. Warm but nice. Hot flashy but nice. So okay. So I said my things on the how I met y'all, how I came about, even with your beautiful wife. And now I want y'all have to tell y'all got to do it separately. So ladies first. So Minister Dunn, I want you to tell everybody about you. Tell us more about you, because it's still the audience is getting to know you. And then after you tell, then Minister Benjuane, I want you to come in and tell us more about you as well too.
Okay. Well, I'm Donje Mcgee. 40 years old. 40 years old. I'm old. Mother of four. I'm a minister. I'm an intercessor. I'm a wife, quite literally. What else you want to know?
Whatever you want to tell us, because we're gonna get to know you more as you begin to talk and share your story about some of the things that you have endured and also been through at the same time.
Okay. Well, I'm a psalmist. I try to be funny most of the time, but not really serious. But I can be serious. I'm from Green. Well, I was born in Lawrence, but I grew up in Greenville because I don't want him to correct me because he sang from there. But I'm originally from Lawrence, South Carolina. I'm my father's only child. I'm the oldest child of my mother, and I mean that's about it. I love the Lord. At the end of the day, been through a lot in my life. Been through a lot of trials. But I'm still standing.
Amen. I know that's right.
Yeah,
still
definitely.
Let the Lord use you as He used you all the time when you. And so now, Minister Benjuane, you got to tell us just a little bit more about yourself, for the audience can get to know you more.
Oh,
Good evening, everybody. I'm Benjuane. You can call me Ben. I am a licensed and ordained minister. I grew up in a little country place called Montville, South Carolina. There ain't no red lights, there ain't no street lights. It's just straight bushes.
Right.
I grew up. My mother had me and my two other sisters. I got some brothers on my daddy's side. I'm trying to think what all.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I grew up in the country. I graduated high school. Went on, did like a year at college at Allen University. Dropped out of Once I dropped out of college, I kind of got involved into the streets and whatnot, if you would like to call it. I didn't grow up in no hood. You know, I had a 2-parent household. My mother and my stepfather. You know, my stepfather been there since I was 4. My biological father wasn't there at all. So as the time go on and we'll talk, you'll learn that I had to deal with abandonment issues growing up, which led to me doing other things along in my life or whatnot. And so that's about it. As for a starter, you know, I'm just a little country boy from Montville, South Carolina.
Look.
Well,
Okay.
So,
I ain't live no more.
both of y'all country. Cause she said she was from the country. You said you were from the country. So two country people got.
She's not from the country. She was born in Lawrence and moved up to Greenville. She's a city girl that wants to be country.
Greenville is country.
I'm country. Like I'm walk outside barefoot country.
I walk outside barefoot.
Like all the way country. Like deer meat, squirrel, rabbit.
No, I ain't that country.
That country.
I ain't that country.
So that's country. That's country. Yeah. What world stew?
Yeah, turtle stew. Yeah, turtle stew. All of that type of country.
Oh, well, yeah, you country.
Yeah, I ain't that country.
Yeah, that type of country.
Not that far.
Not that far.
Hey, understood. So now we got to know more about Minister Donje, and we got to know more about Minister Benjuane. And now we got an icebreaker, y'all. So our icebreaker goes like this. So hey, I'm gonna do ladies first, and then I'm gonna do you next, okay? Unless you switch it up, and then we still gonna do ladies first, okay? So my icebreaker is always, what is something that you like to do for fun and why?
Thrifting. It's just I don't know, it just relieves me. I like to go thrifting, you know, make styles up that nobody else got. I'm big on it. So I'm a thrifter.
Oh wow. Yeah. So tell us why does thrifting excite you? Like, what is it about? Is it a finished product that you do? Is it like a project or?
All the above, but really just the finished product. I don't like going somewhere and going shopping and I look like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I want to be uniquely designed in all facts of my life. So I go in there, I'm gonna put something together. I promise y'all, and it ain't gonna cost me that much. So
yes,
I love it.
Look, that's why you. Yes, but that's why you always look unique. Every time when you put yourself together, you look unique. So you can tell that, you know, you are creative. That's what it is. You're very, very creative.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, so you like thrifting. Okay, so now, Minister Benjuane, you got to tell us, what is something that you like to do for fun and why?
I like to wash dishes.
What?
It's a reason.
I'm not expecting that.
No, listen. It's a reason though. The simple fact is because that was my truck. That was my truck growing up, and in our backyard, it's a big oak tree. And I was just when I grew up, I was always amazed that how the squirrels just jump from tree to tree, just not worrying about anything. And I realized that the older I got, and once I got saved, the reason why I enjoyed that, because that was a constant reminder to me of God promises that he will take care of all your needs according to his riches and glory. He take care of the birds in the air and all of that right there. So I was told, Donje, that whatever house we buy, it gotta have an oak tree in the backyard. While I'm washing dishes, I can sit out there and watch them squirrels play. And plus, it relaxes me. Washing dishes relaxes me.
So you like even the washing the dishes, it could kind of puts you into a relaxing mode, but you like the scenery of nature.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. That's neat. That's neat.
That's
and you just
real different.
Yeah,
it relaxes.
What's wrong with that?
Relax.
I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Right.
Oh wow. So we found out that washing dishes relaxes Benjuane, and then we found out that Donje loves thrifting. So that's unique. That is unique. That you love nature and the things that come about it. And it you know what too? It lets you see the work of God. And I get what you think of God, how he, you thinking like these squirrels just they ain't got to worry about nothing, but God provide every single thing for them, and they carefree, And then for Donje, you creative, so you like to create things with your hands. Oh, that's good. That's unique.
Right.
Oh wow. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So y'all have told us more about yourself and the things that you like to do for fun. And so now we're gonna go into, I guess you would say, what some people would say, like the meat of the questions. But I want to start with Minister Donje, and I want to say, tell us about little Donje.
Okay. Little Donje grew up in a single parent home. Me and my younger sister were 6 years apart. A house full of females. It was my grandma. She's still alive. My grandma, my aunts, their children, me and my sister, my mom raised us. I left home early, defiant. Around I started running away about 14, 15, out in the streets. I was homeless from that age up till about 18. When I had my oldest child, she's 21 now. During that process, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about struggle. I learned a lot about how to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not until I got this age that I really got the chance to see how to live. You get what I'm saying? It was always survival mode. My mom was always in survival mode, and when I got on my own running the streets, I got raped. I've been molested. I got gang raped at the age of 16. I stayed in a drug house at 18, 17, 16, 17, with my first baby daddy. And I got to see what life was, you know what I'm saying, out in the streets. I stayed in the crack house with him. He sold drugs. And just dealing with physical abuse, as a child in relationships. Just all the wrong areas. You get what I'm saying? I dealt with rejection a lot coming up. Wanted to be accepted by people, wanted to be loved, so it was hard. I dropped out in high school. And I was just determined, even though I was going through whatever I was going through, I still believed in God. I met my first pastor at I think it was like 15, I think.
Mhm.
And I was just walking around the community where my mom lived, and I was just singing. They used to call me Songbird on the streets. And
Yeah.
all the, the druggies and all that stuff, they were like, I love the way you sing, girl. You can just sing. You just sang me, And I would just walk around and sing. I had nowhere to go, try to be friends with people, never fit in. I just knew I was different, but I didn't know why I was different. You know what I'm saying? And even though I went through a lot, I always attached myself to strangers for some apparent reason. I wanted to show them love because I was missing love. You get what I'm saying? My dad, he stays in New Jersey. He was kind of like in and out my life growing up. You know what I'm saying? And so I just dealt with a lot of rejection, a lot of rejection. I had my first baby at 18, like I said, working, I had my own house. And then I'm gonna let you ask the questions later. I don't know if you want me to go that far, but it just got, I ain't gonna say it got worse, but it got deeper, as I
Yeah.
got older.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask a question, kind of
Mhm.
going back. Why did you feel like you were more comfortable in the streets than actually at home? What was the at home dynamics in order for you to feel as though you just did not want to be there, or you felt um like that wasn't your home to a certain sense?
Well, because my dad wasn't there, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm the typical young girl. I want my daddy. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like, in a sense, he rejected me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't important. And my
Yeah.
mom, she did the best she could, you know what I'm saying, raising us. But, it still was a piece of me missing. You get what I'm saying? And because that part of my life was missing, it got me to the point that I was trying to target, you know what I'm saying, get out in the streets to, find love in men that was way
Mm-hmm.
older than me. You get what I'm saying? Because I missed
Yeah.
that compassion with my father,
Yeah.
and I didn't understand why he didn't, he wasn't there, he wasn't around, he wasn't in the same state. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand it. And then falling for the wrong men. I'm 15, 16, 17 years old dealing with men that's like 20, 21, 22, and they
Yeah.
showing me all this flashy stuff. And, I'm thinking it's love, but all they
Yeah.
want me for is, what? So, I just got consumed in it. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know nothing else. I
Yeah.
grew up with a whole bunch of females. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I had, like I said, I knew of God, but I didn't know God. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is, but, you know, I thank God that I'm still here because
Oh
I
yeah.
think I was 17 where we lived. It was a plant, and I'll never forget. The plant was I don't know why. Well, I do know why. The Holy Spirit told me at the time. I didn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to go down there with the homeless people and stay in the warehouse. It was an abandoned warehouse down from where my mom lived. This is when I was roaming. And they used to have the metal barrels and they start a fire in it. And so this particular night I was asleep on the floor because we had like, cloth and stuff that we slept on. And it was like a group of people around it just to keep warm. And I'll never forget, the Holy Spirit woke me up wee hours in the morning and said, get up and go to your mama's house. And of course, I'm not gonna knock on my mama's door at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I woke up and I went. It took me a minute to get up, but I went because it was like a push. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was there. I kept asking the lady, I forgot her name, but I was like, do you hear that? She was like, no, what are you talking about? Go to sleep, And I was like, I'm finna go. So I went home. I walked up the street because my mom literally stayed up the street from me. And I
Yeah.
walked up the street and I sat on the couch. She had a couch on her front porch, and I laid on the couch and went to sleep. Not even 4 or 5 hours later, the whole thing burnt down. And everybody died but me.
Ooh,
Everybody died
Jesus.
but me. Yeah. So like I
Mm.
said, I experienced a lot, but I also experienced God, you know what I'm saying? Through the whole
Mm-hmm.
process. And didn't even know that he was, existing like that, in my life.
Jesus. My God. So in a place, and you said, God is just telling you, get out, get out. I need you to go right now. And you
Right.
leave, you go, and the whole place burns down. And people, how many people was in there that had passed?
I don't know. I don't
But you
know.
just know, oh my
I know.
gosh.
I just know it was a lot of them. It was a lot
Yeah.
of them. It was a lot of them. Yeah. But I
Oh
mean, right
wow.
in that section that I was at, it was like maybe 10 people where I was.
Oh wow. Oh my goodness.
Mhm. Yep.
Whew. Oh, ain't that just what you just said, that you experience these things and you experience these things, and sometimes you'll go through life and you actually will believe that you're all by yourself and that God wasn't present and he wasn't there, but then moments like that show you that no, he was there with me, even though I was walking through the valley and going through the valley, but yet he still was
Right,
present.
right, right,
Mm, God.
right.
Jesus, my God. Oh my God. I did not. Oh my God. I'm just amazed by that his cover and protection, that he covers us, but he protects us. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Even when we
yeah.
don't even know it ourselves. But to be able to
Right,
look back in now and say, he kept me even when I didn't know what keeping was at the time.
right, right, right.
So, oh God, okay. My God. Okay. So I want to ask the question. So you are a young lady, and you're a young
Mhm.
lady, and you're out in the streets. And what was some of the things? Because that is strictly survival mode. That's strictly survival
Right,
mode. What you just say, that is strictly
right.
survival mode. So you're trying to survive. Tell us some of the other things that you experienced while you were out there, and how it could be able to be beneficial to somebody else. Like, what were did you know, even when you talked about being gang raped, did you know that you was in danger, or was it just a place that you just was finding shelter at for the moment?
So during that time, I met a guy that claimed that he had a studio. And so it
Mm-hmm.
was me and another girl that went. I might have been 16. And he was like, come to the studio. I want you to sing. You got a beautiful voice. I want you to background. I was like, okay, cool. This might be it. I'm young minded. You get what I'm saying? I'm thinking this is my opportunity to get out of the situation that I'm in. You get what I'm saying? And I hmm, went to the thing, and they had an after party. There was a bunch of rappers that was at this. It was like a house, but they made it into a studio, or whatever. And the guy put something in my drink, and when he put in my drink, I passed out, but I kept waking
Jesus.
up through the process of them gang raping me.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
And so that next morning, I woke up in a ditch. Woke up in
Mm-hmm.
the ditch. My shirt was ripped. I didn't have no bottoms on. Matter of fact, a smoker walked up in the community and woke me up. And she was like, "You okay? You okay?" And I was like, "Where I'm at? Where I'm at? What you mean I'm okay?" And she was like, "You ain't got no clothes on." I was like, "What?" And I just started looking at, feeling on myself or whatever. And I didn't know what really happened until years later, because I was in and out. And somebody
Mm-hmm.
told me that they videoed me.
Jesus.
So yeah, yeah.
Did any of them face any charges for what they had did to you?
No, I don't
No.
know. I haven't seen them since then. No, ma'am.
Mm,
Mm-mm.
my
No, ma'am.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
wow. Jesus. Okay. So, like, what age were you at that time?
16, 17.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
I mean, what could
So
I
you,
tell the pops? I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know who did it, how they did it, which way they did it. So, all I knew was I woke up in the ditch, you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
no. That's understandable. And
Right.
it's sad that being young ladies and being young ladies, and sometimes it's hard to learn it on your own, the woes of
Right.
the streets, actually being out there. And it
Yeah.
is sad that people use those tactics to be able to get young ladies. And the reason why I say that is because I remember being a young lady, and it used to, well, it was these guys,
Mm-hmm.
and what they would do was give the young ladies drinks, alcohols, especially the ones that they wanted to have sex with. They will overindulge in alcohol, keep giving them bottles. I was at a
Right.
party, and just so happened I was pregnant, and was able to witness what they were actually doing. And
Right.
they were the ones were the ones that they wanted to have sex with. They kept passing them
Mm-hmm.
drinks, and we all underage. We all underage. These grown men,
Right.
it's all grown men. So it is a lot of woes on the streets that you will be able to have to learn. Even if you said that it was being defiant, but it teaches you so many lessons when what we would call having a hard head, is what some
Right.
people would say. So
Right.
just amazed by that. So tell us some more about, like, your experiences as you were out there, and you were out there on the streets, because I feel like young people need to know, because sometimes young people, they don't believe you until it actually happens. But I guess
Right.
all of us like that to a degree. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, we gotta figure it out on our own, but
Right.
sometimes figuring it out on your own, like, you made it out, but what
Right.
about the ones that they don't make it out? So just tell us some more, Donje, about your experience as a young lady, and you're learning these things, and these things are coming across your path, and surely you have to be a strong woman to be able to endure these things, because sometimes it breaks you. And when
Right.
it breaks you, you don't make it out of that thing, but you made
Right.
it out of it. So tell us some more experiences that you were experiencing out there on the street, or what we call surviving.
Right. Um, I've seen a lot. I think the most powerful thing that I've ever seen was being in some of those crack houses. I've never done any
Mhm.
drugs. Let me clarify that up. Um, but I never forget the one time that I was in there. Because like I said, I was where I could be. You get what I'm saying? At that time, I wanted a roof over my head, so it was free to go in there. You get what I'm saying? I never forget watching somebody overdose in front of
Mm,
me. Um,
Jesus.
it was a lot, it was a lot. I'm
Mhm.
trying not to cry, but it's a lot. It was a lot seeing that young lady go from talking to me and telling me, you better than this. You're not even like us. Why you here? Go back home. And I was searching for something. You get what I'm saying? What that something was, I don't know, but I was searching for something. What was at home wasn't it wasn't suitable at that time. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like men, whoever I was in a relationship or dealing with, they could offer me some kind of fulfillment that I was missing from my father. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not saying my father's a bad person, because me and him got a great, relationship now. But
Yeah.
then it was just like I needed to be loved. You know, even if
Yeah.
it meant for me to indulge in stuff that, you know, I wouldn't imagine, you know,
Mhm.
just to feel a little bit, you know, feel like
Yeah.
I'm wanted, you know, because
Yeah.
I was lost. I was so lost. I was so lost. And it got to the point, you know, that I feel the void of loneliness, rejection, denial with sex. You know,
Mhm.
it didn't matter if you loved me. It didn't
Yeah.
matter, you know, if you wanted to be with me. None of that. I just wanted to feel wanted. You know, I wanted
Yeah.
to feel, you know, you bought me some nice things. Oh, look at me, you know, but you
Yeah.
treated me like crap at the end of the day. You beat on me, you know. Um, and I
Jesus.
dealt with it. I
Mhm.
dealt with it. I dealt with it because I felt like that's what I needed.
Yeah.
That's what I needed.
Jesus. And take it in any way, in any form that it comes in.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right,
Well, you know, and not really even realizing that that is just toxic. You
right,
know, to yeah, you beat on me and you go upside my head, but yet you buy me nice things. So it's
right,
like causing like you to be confused that well maybe this what love is if you
right,
seeking it. You say you were seeking it from your father and seeking it from your father, and you felt those places of abandonment because we do fill it up with things. We fill it up with
right,
all kind of things. And a
right.
lot of times when we put it up, it's basically, and then you were young too. So your mind
Yeah,
is impressionable. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like you can
right,
get impressionable. And you know the
right,
crazy thing about now from then is that a lot the younger generation they idolize people when it's toxic, when it's abusive, when it's unhealthy. I would call out a certain situation, but it was a one young lady, and it was always toxic. It was always drama. It was always them fighting on the streets, doing all of these things, and they glamorize these things, and it's not nothing glamorized about that at all. Somebody
right,
has to tear you down in order to make themselves feel like they something or they doing something for you. That ain't it,
right,
baby. That is not it, and it's not a form of love. You get what I'm saying? Because they take it from you, you know.
right,
And a little bit of those blows every single time, it takes life out of you. It takes the
right,
breath out of you. Like what in the world? It's
right.
confusing. So I okay. Okay. So I'm trying to think. Okay. So you can go on like a little bit more, like elaborate on something else,
Okay,
and then we're gonna try to switch our Minister Benjuane in, and then we're gonna
okay,
meet at Betty.
okay. Well, after that, had my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Um, feeling rejected, alone, single mother. Um,
Mm-hmm.
baby daddy denied her. Um, so I had to deal with that.
Yeah,
Um, then I got introduced to stripping. So that
yeah.
was my next thing that I went
Mm-hmm.
through. I started doing that. I did that for a while, a long while. But I realized that what I went through and how I felt as a child rolled
Mm-hmm.
over into that. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying? And then I started becoming something that I wasn't. You get what I'm saying? I had to put a mask on. You know, I had to become somebody's fantasy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get drunk just to do it. You know,
Yeah.
and what was crazy, like I said, God always had His hand on me. I'm an honest believer of that. He always had His hand on me, even when I was stripping. You know, it was many incidents that I be in there and I would see girls get jumped, pimped, strung out. You know, they lose their kids. It was
Yeah.
one lady that I was real close to while I was there. I used to call, me and her was real close. We would talk about God, um, and she one night after the ending of the shift, and she was like, my name was Tasty at the time. But anyway, that's another story. But she say, Tasty, I really want to know about that God thing that you always talk, because I would get drunk and talk about God. And so
Jesus.
she was like, I want to know about that God thing you always talking about. I said, okay. She said, I think I want to be saved. And so I was like, okay, give me a minute. Keep in mind, I ain't got no clothes on. It's the end of this year. We got stilettos on, all this other stuff. So I took all that off, put my clothes on. We went to the bathroom. I led her to Christ. When I led her to Christ, not even an hour later, she died. An hour later, she died.
Jesus.
Hour later, she died. And
Jesus.
that thing hurt all of us.
Mm-hmm.
That thing hurt us. Because even though, people idolize that and, oh, well, you was this, and the other, and, you don't have no respect for yourself, but we became a family in there because we all dealt with rejection. We all dealt with something in our lives. And it was like a lot of people that was rejected in there. You get what I'm saying? And we loved each other. I'm still close to some of the girls that dance with me. Even to this day. And we talk about God. They ain't in that profession no more. Quite naturally, we old and ain't nobody want to see us like that. But I'm really close to a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? We still contact each other, talk to each other because we were each other's support system. And it taught us a lot about, family, even though we wasn't blood. You know what I'm saying? And we looked out for each other. We fought together. We argued together. We got drunk together. Some of them got high together. I just sit there and laugh or whatever. But I was in survival mode, but we looked out for each other, And so when she died, a lot of us that was, angry at each other, it brought us together, Throughout that, it also pushed me into homosexuality. I was gay, because the men, I was everything in the club, but I was nothing outside. They was with their lives, their wives and their children. So when they see us, it was like I was the scum of the earth. But when I'm in there, it was all about me. And so I felt like that's what men has always showed me. So why not be with somebody that understand my feelings, my emotion, my rejection, my trauma? You get what I'm saying? Because I mean, the relationship that I was in at that time with the female, she understood the rejection in me. So you are who you was in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your track was in you. Let's say that. And so when I was with her, she dealt with, rejection from family, rejection from relationships, rejection from the church, all this different stuff. And it was a trauma bond, and honestly, now that I know what it is, it was a spirit. And it kept us together. We were tormented. We were tormented in the relationship. But the trauma that we had, we both shared and we could talk about, kept us together, even though we wasn't happy together.
Yeah. Almost kind of making you feel as though you were safe to be able to express what you was feeling, but in actuality, really, it was toxic.
Right.
Yeah, and this is trauma bonding. With the one set thing that begins to connect us together, and now we connected together, and we believe that when it's fed by trauma, of course it's gonna be toxic or dysfunctional because it was led by dysfunction. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just. So how long were you in the homosexual relationship? And like, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was you answering? I'm sorry.
You broke up. No,
Oh,
you
I wanted
breaking up. I didn't hear you.
am I breaking up now?
Mm-hmm.
Am I breaking up now?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. Oh, sorry. I had wanted to ask, how long were you in the homosexual relationship? Like, was it like, because we went from 18 and we talked about some of the things until you got
Mm-hmm.
18, then you had a baby, and now you are in the club and you are stripping and you are in the club
Mm-hmm.
and exotic dancer to where, like, where was it to where you got into a homosexual relationship right there? Because I know you said it kind of pushed you into it. Did you ever have feelings for it before you got to that moment, or did it just start just in the club?
It started in the
No. Oh,
club.
oh wow. Okay. And
Yeah.
is it just like what you seen, or it was just y'all just clicked with each other and it just felt like love?
Um. No. Well, my mom. She dibbled and dabbled in it as a younger age, and her. When I was young, and so at first I thought it was wrong. You get what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I was totally against it until I got to the club. So when I got to the club and
Oh,
I started seeing how men treated me, even though I had a history of rejection from men and them using me for whatever, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't until I got to the club that I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll be happy on this side. You get what I'm saying? And so that's when I started, getting into it.
yeah, I just asked that because so certain situations do push you into it. So is it? And I hear you when you said like just seeing it, but still not being interested in it until that moment. And like you said, you
Right,
were looking for something, you were searching
right,
for something, and
right,
it was probably more accepted in that space of that fantasy space. Quote unquote, that's a
right,
fantasy place.
right, right,
Where
right,
indulging in everything that's part of your sexual fantasies in your mind.
right, right.
Um, and I would just, yeah, okay. So I
Mm.
wanted to know that part. So how long was it that you were in the relationship?
Me and him got together the first time when I was like 25.
Corey was born 2004.
Mm-hmm.
We met late 2008.
So I ended that relationship in 2006.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did you and Minister Benjuane, did y'all meet at the club?
No,
No,
no, no, no, no.
no,
Uh,
no, no, no,
no,
no,
no.
no. No, I was in the club when I met him though, but I didn't meet him in the club.
Oh, okay. So you were
I was still
still,
dancing. I was still
but
dancing
you
when I met him.
okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, I know now. I want to backtrack with Minister Bitcoin, but how did you feel when you found out that? I want to ask that question before I forget. How did you feel when you found out that Donje was at the club, or you didn't have no feeling towards it?
At that time, I had no feeling for it. When I first met her, and she told me that she was in the club. I mean, we was just cut buddies at that time.
Pretty much.
You see what I'm saying? It was no strings attached. So
Good.
whatever you do in your
Yeah.
own time is what you do. Whatever I did in my own time is what I do. So I didn't have no personal feelings towards what she did
Right.
because we wasn't in no committed relationship.
Right.
Right. So you just saying y'all were just cut buddies, so it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I see
It
you when I see you,
is.
baby. I
Yeah.
understood. Okay. So now I have to ask the question. So now that we learned some more about Minister Donje, I gotta ask the question: is tell us about little Benjuane.
Hmm. Uh, little
There
Benjuane.
y'all.
Little, like I said, I'm from Montville. I was raised with, it was just me, my mom, and my two sisters. Um,
Mhm,
we spent a lot of time at my grandma's house,
mhm,
and there it was always me, my sister, um, and my two first cousins, which is also female. So it was just always me around a bunch of female. It was never, you know what I'm saying? And so,
mhm,
cause my mama worked two jobs until she met my stepfather. Then they got married, and they bought a trailer. And even at that, just their work schedule was conflicting with our school schedule. So me and my younger sister, my older sister left the house like immediately after graduation. Like time she graduated, I see y'all later. I'm gone. And it was always just me and me and my younger sister. And so
mhm,
we spent a lot of time at my grandma's house. And while there's like I cling to my uncle at that time a lot because, like I say, it was a lot of girls at my grandma's house, and so I just,
mhm.
I didn't want to be around girls. So at a young age, I just used to do it. I used to be bad, man. Like, man, I got so many whoopings. Like, man, Lord, I mean, my grandma used to, God rest her
I did.
soul, but my grandma used to wear me out. I mean, she used to wear me out. And then when I got home, my mama would whoop me again. And it's like, I was
Woo.
just, at that time, I didn't know I was a troubled child. You get what I'm saying? And, but what I didn't realize what caused it was I was dealing with abandonment and rejection issues because my father wasn't there. And so, growing up, I was kind of just, I don't even know what to call it. I didn't really get into a whole lot of like trouble growing up, but I got into trouble. You get what I'm saying? Because I still, I wouldn't call it a wayward child. I was a disobedient child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I did
Yeah.
what I wanted to when I wanted to, would steal my mom's car. And so, I'm trying to
What?
speed up. I would steal my mom's car and all that. And so in ninth grade, this is where everything kind of took a turn for me. It was my freshman year in high school. My mom let me spend the night over one of my homeboys' house. And I remember when she came and picked me up, she said, "Benjuane, I got something to tell you." I was like, "What is it, Mom?" She was like, "Your brother died." And at
Oh.
that time, when she told me that, I had so many different feelings going through my mind. Like, it's like
Mhm,
I wanted to cry, but I couldn't cry because I had myself telling me, how can you mourn somebody that you never knew? You see what I'm saying?
um,
Then in the
hey.
same token, I'm like, man, I had a brother that I never even got to know, which was neither one of our fault. It was somebody else's fault that we didn't get to know each other. So my first time meeting my brother was my first and my last time. Like my first time meeting him face to face, he was in a casket. And so I started dibbling and dabbling in weed, you know what I'm saying? Drinking that Mad Dog 2020. And
Know about
so
that?
and so fast forward time, um, I got involved in sports. I kind of slacked up on to getting in trouble because like that gave me an outlet to take my anger out. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so I graduated high school, actually won a partial scholarship to Allen University. Went down there for a year and really just got out of control because it was like
Mm-hmm.
down there in college, you ain't got nobody telling you what to do, when to do, how to do it. You're on your own. So you got to think. I was at Allen University. You got Benedict. You got USC, and at that time you got the College of Columbia, which was an all-female school. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like a dog in heat. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was just, you know, I was just running wild. I had linked up with a guy from Augusta, Georgia, and me and him had linked up with some guys from Detroit, and man, we were just living life. And so I decided to drop out of college. I came back home, started smoking weed really bad, started drinking really bad. That's when I started getting in trouble with the laws, like just stupid stuff, breach of peace, breach of trust. You see what I'm saying? Just little dumb petty crimes. You see what I'm saying? And so, fast forward time on my 21st birthday, I got locked up for me and my homeboys were sitting down in Montville getting drunk one night. I got drunk, and it was a guy down there. He was known for when he get drunk, he liked to fight, but he was a very big guy, and so I got drunk, he got drunk, we started mouthing off. And I told him, bro, I'm not about to fight you one-on-one. Like, I'm not about to fight you with my bad hand. So I put a gun out on him. He called the police. I got locked up for pointing presenting firearm. I got put on probation. Still didn't stop smoking weed. Like, I was just one of them hit the floor weed smokers. Like, I had to smoke weed. That's just what I was. It like, weed was my escape from reality, from everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I remember I went in for my first meeting with my PO, flunked the drug test, which they give you that because that's your first time, so on and whatnot. And he had told me at that time, like, okay, you know, I need for you to, you know what I'm saying, get yourself clean, so on and whatnot, get you a job, because you're going to have to pay court restitution, so on and whatnot. Still didn't stop smoking weed. So my mom and my pops took me to go report again, flunked the drug test. And he told me, all right, you got two choices. Either you can go to rehab, or I can violate you, and you go to jail. I'm going to let you make the choice. Because if it left up to me, I'm going to send you to jail. But the thing about it, my PO, he knew me from my school days because his wife was my teacher. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
And so he knew that I wasn't really, quote unquote, a bad person. I was just, I guess you could say I was at a bad stage in my life. And so my PO ended up sending me to a rehab in Greenwood called Faith Home. I remember my uncle taking me down. Man, I cried like a baby. I'm talking, I was a grown man at this time. But I cried like a baby down there because I didn't want to go. But at the same token, I didn't want to go to jail. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do 3 months down here. These 3 months going to fly. Like, I had already made up in my mind. I'm going to do these 3 months. I'm going to get my PO off my back. And I'm just going to go back to my regular way. Like, that's just what it is. And so I went to rehab, met some great people at rehab, though. Like, I met some real great people down there. Had to go through the 12-step program. I had to get my sponsor, blase. Graduated rehab. I got involved. They always tell you in rehab, you never get involved with somebody that you meet in rehab. You see what I'm saying? And so, hard-headed. One thing about me, you're going to learn about me, Benjuane going to do what Benjuane want to do. I'm very hard-headed. Ain't that I'm proud of, pray for me. But I'm very hard-headed. Benjuane going to do what Benjuane want to do. And so even though they told them don't get involved with each other, I still got involved with a young lady. Then I got introduced to Coke. You see what I'm saying? She introduced me to Coke. And things just, my life just was like a roller coaster after that. It's like a roller coaster. Like, I was strung out on Coke. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to be very transparent with it. I was strung out on Coke. I had started, going back and forth to my parents' house, stealing from them because I was always chasing that first high. You see what I'm saying? And so I remember God is so strategic in what he does. I remember I was sitting in Miles in her apartment, and I was just like, man, I can't do this no more. Because I seen the toll that it had took on me. And I think my mama knew that I was doing something else other than weed, but she didn't want to a dress. And so I remember one night, man, I ain't gonna lie, I had been up maybe 4 days straight off of cocaine. I was no sleep, and I had to go to work. And I drove to work and fell asleep behind the wheel. Totaled my car.
Jesus.
And so at that time, I didn't realize God was slowing me down. And so at that time, either I was gonna quit my job and stay in Spartanburg, or move back in with my parents and keep my job. Because I was driving from Spartanburg to Clinton every day to go to work. And so I made the decision to move back in with my parents, which my stepfather told me, look at here, boy, you're not coming in here with all that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I was like, all right, Pops, I got you. I ain't gonna do it. But me being hard-headed, I tried to be sneaky about it. And do it. And I ended up, they ended up finding out. They ended up finding it in the house. I remember my pops telling me, hey man, you gotta go. Like you can't be here no more. And at that time, I was angry that he put me out. But on hindsight, now that I look back, I'm grateful because at that time, when he put me out, that's when me and Donje met. We met through, I don't know if you're ready to roll over into that. But
no, I want to ask you a question to go back just for a moment. Even when you talked about being a young man but not having your father figure in there, even though eventually you had your stepfather, but not having your father figure in there. You said about being well, I guess hard headed. Hard headed. But we say that, and we say that, we'll say we're being divine, we're being hard headed, or we're being this, but in actuality, it's just us as children trying to express how we actually feel, but we don't got words for how we actually feel. So, I want you to be able just to elaborate on that part, because I guess why I asked you that is because even with my own son, my son, he didn't have his daddy. His daddy is not really a present daddy. Never really wanted to actually be there, but I couldn't understand for him because I always had my daddy. So my daddy was always, but he never had his. So I guess I could understand with having compassion, but I couldn't understand his pain. You get what I'm saying? So I just want you to just talk about that for elaborate on that for just a moment for us, please.
Well, as far as my father, I remember when I was 4 years old, my mama took me to his mother's house, and she told us, get off my porch. That ain't his son. And so, and my mom was like, well, I don't need that from y'all. He all right anyway. And so I remember me getting sick one day, and my mama taking me to the hospital. I remember this. At that time, I thought she was the security guard, but come to find out, she was my aunt. And she walked into our room, and she was like, babe, I want to apologize to you because he been lying this whole time. You look just like him. And so at that time, I still was like, man, it's whatever. I don't need him for nothing. And so what I didn't realize is through that, I grew up with a lot of anger because even though I said I didn't need my dad, I still long to be accepted by him. Like, I had so much resentment for my father that it made my stepfather have a rocky relationship into 20 till I turned 23, 24.
Oh, wow.
So he came into my life at 4. So from 4 years old to like 23, 24, me and my stepfather had a very rocky relationship. Like, I disrespected him in any way I could because I had so much. In my mind, I couldn't fathom as a young man, like, why this man trying to be my daddy and my real daddy ain't trying to be my dad?
Right.
And so it made me draw resentment towards him and act out towards the man that's trying to be there, and really just have a strong dislike. to my father, and to me, him had a conversation. When my brother died, that was the first time I met my father. And I remember sitting out in that funeral home. My brother mom came to me and she apologized too. She said, "Baby, I'm sorry because he been lying." I was like, "You look just like him," and so on and whatnot. So after that, I kind of built the relationship with my brother's mama and her two boys. We kind of became close knit. But I remember having a conversation with my father, and he never could tell me why he wasn't there. Like I don't care about all the other symmetries of it, bro. Why wasn't you there? That's all I cared about. And he never could give me no answer. And so I just finally just got to the point where I just didn't care anymore. But fast forward time, which I'm not trying to go too far ahead of time, but I'm happy to bring it back because I had to get me a therapist. And once I got me a therapist, I realized that once I was able to heal from that abandonment issues and have a conversation with him, I realized that he only repeated what his father did to him. So he really didn't know no better.
Right.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And so me and him, we had a conversation not too long ago, and I told him, I said, "Man, listen to me. This is where I'm at with it. I'm 38 years old, getting ready to turn 39. I don't want to dwell on the past.
Right.
It happened, it happened. I've forgiven you. If you want to start fresh now, we can. If not, that's cool too. Right. It ain't no hard feelings. I'm not that little boy anymore that's sitting there waiting for the fall. You see what I'm saying? And it took me some years to get there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It took me some years, different steps, different trials and tribulations, going to my therapist, whatnot, for me to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Jesus. I'm just so glad of the fact that you saying that you as a black man went to a therapist to get actually more help to be able to work through the things that you have experienced and actually being vulnerable enough to even share with somebody else the deepest parts of the things that bother you. And so and he's and your daddy's older, but so how like do you ever feel like it'll come back to actually starting fresh or like?
No, I mean that's his choice. I really don't. And it doesn't bother me because, like I tell people now, I got a father at home in Mcgee. You see what I'm saying?
Come on.
Now that I've grown up and matured and healed, that man was my father. He, even though I was disrespectful to him, he showed up at every sporting event. He showed up at every parent-teacher conference. He was always there.
Right.
Anybody can make a baby, but it takes a man to raise a child. And so that's my father down there in my bed with my mom.
Right.
That's my father, and that's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I feel you. I understand exactly what you're saying. And I just hate that it will be that, but I guess maybe on the inside of them, just.
But see, the thing about it, he doesn't understand. I get it because it's a generational thing. You get what I'm saying? I get it now. Right. That's why I don't hold no malice towards him.
Right.
Because it's a generational thing. Right. And with me, I made the conscious decision. The buck stops here with me. Like, I'm not gonna allow my kids to go through what I went through at a young age.
Right.
And so like I get it. He don't understand that that's a generation, of course, that he wasn't there for me because his father wasn't there for him and his father wasn't there for them. And so it's a bloodline thing that goes farther beyond him, but he doesn't understand it. But I do.
Right.
And so once I realized that, that's when I said, I'm going to make the conscious decision that stops here with me.
Right.
Like,
Come
I'm not
on.
going to let it roll over into my son.
Right.
And so I had to cut it up.
Yeah. And that's this is just Apostle Smith said, teach minister Benjuane. I know that's right. Because
Right.
come on, it's you in you that when, because you know the generational things are come to be able, I feel like, to weaken the generations, to keep us in
Yeah.
the same cycle, to keep
Yeah.
us bound
Yeah.
up. But when it came to you, you said, no, the devil is a lie. This is where the line is drawn. But you will not create a pattern throughout my
Yeah.
generations through me. So it came to destroy, and it came to
Yeah.
stop, and it to bind up. But just you standing up and saying, no, the generation of curse stops right now. It
Right.
stopped right now. It's not going
Right.
forward.
Right.
That's you that, hey, the generation of curse breaker. You know,
Right.
the generation of curse breaker. Hey, in the inside of you said, no, this is not going to be a pattern. This is not going to be a continuous thing. And thank God for
Right.
that. It came
Right.
to a generation, and it came to a generation of warrior that said, nah, this is where you stop at today. You don't got no
Right.
authority anymore. I'm binding and starting to fight. You know, whew, Jesus. And Evangelist Snotty said, amen, this is powerful. Amen. And it's just the and Latoya Sales said, amen. Yes, amen. I tell you what, because I'm like, okay, so okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You done fucked up right there.
Well, okay.
I gotta come
Well,
on.
you know, I
They come on.
I get you. I get you.
Look,
Oh man.
okay. Okay. I really literally trying to calm down, y'all, for real, because you got me pumped up when you said that. I'm like, come on, we gonna knock it. So you told us about your process of being a young man, and now you appreciate the stepfather that came in, that is your father, that was there the whole time, even though you had to find with yourself that he was there the whole time. And you talked about going through an addiction with drugs, and going through addiction with cocaine, and well, how you were introduced to cocaine was through somebody else. And it's so crazy. You know what I wanted to point out, because I wanted to say this too, and I think it's amazing. I don't know what that means, but do you know how many people that tell testimonies, and when they tell the testimony, it was their partner or somebody that they was in sexual relation with, that they were introduced to a drug that could have took you out. It could have the glory that God had for you, but it didn't stop the glory. It just made you be a stronger person.
Right.
And it's amazing that partners or sexual partners, how they introduce to things that God never even had attached to us. And you talked about your experience of some of the things that you experienced at that time through it. Can you tell us one more thing, that even the experience of being in an addiction with cocaine, that you were taught, or something anything that stands out in your mind that you could be able just help us to tell us, like, some of the places where it can take you to, and then we'll go forward from there.
When coke took me to a very, very dark place, because the thing about coke, you're always going to be chasing that first high. Like the first time you do coke, that high is going to be so amazing that's how you get addicted, because you're always going to be chasing that first high. And it just took me to a very dark place, a very, very dark place, very, very, very dark place, very dark place, very dark place. Just a very dark place. That's all I can say. Like I wasn't myself. My mom knew that I wasn't myself. She could tell by the way I carried myself. Like I was. My pops was saying, "Boy, you turn sideways, you're gonna disappear." You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, stealing to go pun it to chase that first out. Like I became an actual junkie.
Right.
That's just I'm gonna be transparent. I became
Mm-hmm.
an actual junkie to when I realized this is not who I am.
Yeah.
And that went on for like 6 months. That went on for like 6 months. Until I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I can't do this no more. This is not who I am. Like
Yeah.
I don't let this turn me into somebody that I do not desire to be. Now, granted, when I
Jesus.
moved back home, I still stayed on weed. Like I never left weed alone until my PO. You see what I'm saying? I never
Mm-hmm.
left weed
Yeah.
alone. Well, I take it back.
Yeah.
I left alone when I met Donje. I left alone when I met Donje. I left alone when I met Donje. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Because now I'm trying to get the dates lined up. I dibbled and dabbled in it after the cocaine until I met Donje. Then when I met Donje, it's like I cut it all off.
I gave him an ultimatum. I gave him an ultimatum. And he didn't cut it off. I gave him an ultimatum. Okay. We can go back now. Okay. Yeah. Oh God.
But that's a good. She gave me an ultimatum.
But he loved you enough to listen. So that something right there. He loved you enough to listen because you could have gave him an ultimatum and he could have chose what he wanted to do. But he cared for you so much that he said, you know what? I'm gonna change. No, yeah, this is not me.
Right.
So that's an amazing thing right there.
Right. Definitely.
We have about both of your backstories and both of your backstories. Now we're meeting up at the point where we all are intertwining, where y'all meet each other. Your booski and your booski.
He was my booski when I met him. Let's get that together real quick.
You want to talk?
I did not want him at all. Do you hear me? He walked up to me. Like I said, we have mutual friends. That's how we met. And I was coming over there to get him something. I don't know what I was coming to get. And he was sitting on the porch. He was high. He was drunk. And at that time, he was a beanpole. And he used to wear these shirts.
The tall tees.
The tall tees. Now he ain't that tall, but it like he had a dress on. That's how long it was with these saggy pants. And he walked up to. I never forget. I got in the car, and I was bringing my friend girl because we were dating. We married best friends. So his best friend married my best friend, and right. And so, so that's how I met him. They were together. They was in a relationship, and he came up from Mountville, from rehab.
No. I had been out of rehab probably maybe 8 months, and I hooked up with a guy that had a landscaping business, and I had just came from out of town, and my partner had hit me up like, man, he had actually ran into my mom at the barbershop. It was like, man, I ain't talked to Ben in a long time. Well, she was like, well, Benjuane down there in Columbia work, he doing landscaping now. He doing good for himself. You should give him a call. So he called me, man, when you coming back on? I said, man, I'll be back home Thursday. He was like, man, I stay in Greenville now. Come up here and holler at me. And so I made my way up there, and like she said, that night she pulled up. Man, I was drunk as a skunk, man. I couldn't even. I mustered up the strength to get up and walk up to her. When she got on the porch, I didn't ask her what her name was or nothing. First thing I said, girl, you gonna be my wife. And she say, if you don't get your drunk A out my face.
I wouldn't say.
No, she said, if you don't get your drunk A out my face. And I said, girl, I ain't playing. You gonna be my wife one day. Watch and see. And at that point, it was just like it was a cat and mouse game with us.
Right.
It was a cat and mouse game with us. Until I had got locked up in Greenville for selling drugs. And she called my mom.
I did.
She called my mom, told my mom, Benjuane got locked up in jail. I'm in jail trying to figure out how my mom knew. So I get out of jail. She come back over there where I was. She was like, I called your mom and told her that you had got locked up. I said, why would you call my mom? Like, man, you a snitch, blase, blase. And that night I was sitting on the porch, and we were sitting on the porch just talking. I was smoking and drinking. And she said something to me that no other woman has ever said to me. She said, Benjuane, there's so much more in you. You don't have to do it. And I kind of looked at her, like, huh? She said, yeah, it's so much more in you. She said, but I'm going home. I said, can I go home with you? She said, no. I said, all right, I'll try again another day. And so,
Oh, God.
I remember her going to choir rehearsal. I remember that Thursday night like it was yesterday. She had on a blue jean overall suit with a white shirt and some Timbs. She had went to choir rehearsal. And man, I don't know what them folks did to her over there at that choir rehearsal. But boy, she came in with a glow about her that I said, I gotta have you. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to have you. And still was a cat and mouse thing because she was actually involved with somebody else and I was involved with somebody else, but I knew what I wanted. You see what I'm saying? And so her and old dude broke it off. And
no, he messed up the relationship.
I did not mess it up.
He told that boy that you ain't ready for the type of woman she is. So you might as well go on. And he broke up with me.
Well, y'all did tell me. We were sitting out on the porch.
He broke up with me.
With me, him, and my homeboy was sitting out on the porch. And I said, bro, he had told me and my homeboy, he was like, yeah, I just proposed to Donje.
Yep, I was engaged.
And Donje was going to look for a wedding dress. And so they left the fellas there at the house. And so I told her, I said, hey, bro, I'm going to keep it 100 with you, man. You're not ready for that, man. You're not built for that. You're not built for that. I told her, I said, man, listen, man, you're a mama's boy. Like, she need a melon man. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't like the, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, you might as well move out the way. And so I didn't know that was going to break up that night. So I remember her coming over the next day.
Oh, man.
She came over there screaming, you broke me and blase up. Yeah. I'm like, man, what you talking about? You told him that he wasn't man enough for me. And I said, well, what's I lying? I said, because in all actuality, if he wasn't any type of man, he wouldn't let another man push him out of his position.
Right.
So maybe I'm saving you. And so I think it was a couple weeks later we like really got.
No, I asked him to go to church with me.
Oh yeah.
I asked him to go to church with me. And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. You know, at this time I just got saved. Right. So I'm going to church, going to choir rehearsal, whatever. And I asked him to go that Sunday. And that Sunday he got saved.
No, it wasn't that Sunday.
What was that Sunday?
It was a couple Sundays. I went that Sunday.
I thought it was that
No,
Sunday.
I remember this verbatim.
Oh, well.
I went that Sunday with her. And when we got out, I told her, man, I'm not going back over there. I'm old school Baptist now. I was brought up. So they fire baptized Pentecost.
Right.
So they speaking in tongues and jumping around and all of that right there. And so I told her after church, I said, man, I can't do that. Like, I'm not
That is right, because you was scared.
I'm not used to all of that. Like, y'all speaking tongues, telling y'all say y'all catching the Holy Ghost and all that. Nah, y'all playing too much for me. And so that following Sunday, the bishop actually stopped me. I was sitting out on the side of the road. I had a bell in one hand and a blunt in the other. Right. And so when he pulled up on me, I put everything behind my back. He said, son, you ain't got to hide all that. I know what you're doing. He said, son, you coming to church this Sunday? And my mom was like, no, I ain't coming, but somehow I ended up going over there. Right. And I was sitting at the back of the church. I had weed in one pocket. I was already high. And his daughter-in-law was the youth pastor at the time, which is now my leader now, Apostle Natasha Mayer. She was preaching that Sunday. And all I can remember out of that Sunday, she was preaching out of the book of Matthew something. But all I remember, she said, it's someone in here now they're at war in the inside and they're tired. And I don't even remember getting up, walking up to the altar. You see what I'm saying? All I know is when she said that, next time I open my eyes, I'm at the altar giving my life to Christ. And so after that, me and Donje got serious, but she told me, hey, you know, I got a daughter. So if you move in with me, like, you got to leave all that smoking and drinking stuff at the door. Right. Like, you're going to have to get you a job. Like, you told him that he couldn't be a real man. So if you're going to come here, you need to be a real man. Right. And so I cleaned myself up. I stopped smoking, stopped drinking. Really got into church with her. Me, I was going to church every Sunday. And I was at this place called Park Place Corporation. They was paying us maybe $7.25. And I remember that sad. I didn't have the money to buy her a ring. But I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her at that time. And so I proposed for her with a bread tie. I went in the kitchen, I took the bread tie. Well, she got mad because I'm from the country. We take our bread tie and we just tie our bread back up. She like to tie her bread back up with the bread tie. And so
who remembers all this? But okay, go ahead.
I took the bread tie, went in there. She was sitting on the edge of the bed. Yeah. I said, Donje, listen, I ain't got the money right now to put a ring on your finger, but give me 2 weeks, I'll get you a ring. I said, man, but I know that I'm in love with you and that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? And I put that bread tie on her hand and she said yes. And we sat there and we cried that day like two babies.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I gotta tell y'all, Natasha made bread tie.
Bread tie. A blue bread tie proposed her with a bread tie.
Show that ring.
I proposed her with a bread tie. Yes, I proposed her with a bread tie. Yes, I proposed her with a bread tie.
Yeah.
Well, now that's so.
Let me tell you something funny though. So I was for 2 weeks, and he bought me the ring. Right? It was a little, how much is that?
I went to, like I said, I was only making $7.25.
So he bought me a little cheap ring, but I was happy about that ring, right? So he took me and my daughter down to Reedy River Falls. And my husband cannot swim. Do you hear me? He cannot swim. And the top part of the Reedy River is real shallow, right? So I don't know if he had this idea or my daughter had this idea.
It was choreographed.
Okay. So my daughter is petty like me. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know why he didn't say, you know what, I can't swim. But he got real close to the side of the little riverbank, right? He done failed trying to propose to me. I laugh. I can't even cry because I laughed so hard. He had all white on. And then all of the white people was like, "Oh, it's so sweet," and I'm out there laughing because he went from the crown to his head to the sole of his feet. We out there dying. But I said, "Yeah." But listen, I'll never forget that.
It's memorable.
Oh my God, yes, Lord.
Oh
And
wow.
so,
Can I? Okay, so now let me ask a question. So you say you was excited about your ring. So you was
Yeah.
okay with the time because you knew eventually your man was gonna get you what you had wanted,
But it
and
was
that was that.
never. It was never about the ring. I've been searching for a love from a man. And the thing is about Benjuane, I didn't see it at the beginning, when I first met him. But as we started, cut buddy and getting to know, we became friends. And the thing is, I could be honest with him. Regardless of what I did, he still loved me with unconditional love. Like I'm talking about, I told him the worst stuff about me. You get what I'm saying? The things that I'm telling y'all is half of what, my story is. And, I got in detail with him and he got in detail with me. And we still, we were still there for each other.
Oh
So that
wow.
meant more to me than anything, the fact that, he would choose me and accept
Ooh,
me.
yeah.
So yeah,
Come
that
on
it wasn't
now.
my ring.
Yeah, so being friends, and like you said, telling the depths of your soul, and he sharing the depths of his soul, and y'all still not looking at each other in a different
Right.
way, but still with love and admiration for each other. Oh
Right.
wow, that's very very powerful. Even the point of, I mean, being Minister Ben Quan already done prophesied and got the point. He
Right.
said that was you.
Yeah.
and he got you. He got you.
He did. He did.
Yes.
He did.
So okay. So you get together here, it proposes to you. So how long after that did y'all actually get married? And how long actually did y'all actually get married?
I proposed in 2011,
Yeah.
and we got married in September of 2012.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So y'all was,
Yeah,
I know I want you, you know you want me,
yeah.
and
Right.
and even the appreciation of loving him and seeing and get what you wanted, which was love, and loving him to see a new day and knowing that this person, you wanted him and he wanted you and you loved him and he loved you, and now you're married. And so let's talk about some of the happy times, and so also some of the woes inside of the marriage, even your first time.
I'll let you spread
You
it.
know
Go
what I
ahead.
mean?
Yeah.
Everything started out good. You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say, but we got married broken.
Yes.
We got married broken. We didn't know ourselves. You know, what's the word I'm saying? We had an identity crisis. So my thing is what I thought. I'm gonna just say what I thought because I don't want to, point no fingers at nobody. But what I thought going to church and you hear about marriage and you hear about, to me, how I received it was that was the ultimate goal is to
Come
get
on.
married.
Talk.
But the thing is, you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself. And
Mm,
even though, it might seem like a fairy tale between me and him at the beginning, I was broken. I didn't know how to love myself, let alone love him. You get what I'm saying? Because I
yes.
come out of trauma, he come out of trauma, and we unify and we're still trauma. You see what I'm saying? And so
Good.
I didn't know how to be a wife. I barely
Yeah.
knew how to be a mother because like I said, I was 18. I barely knew how to
Yeah.
be a mother, but I knew how to survive. And I
Yeah.
only and one thing that I appreciate in a younger age to now, of an understanding is what you go through. What you go through now is a replica of what you've been through. What I mean by that is everything that I
Yep.
seen, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in my past, I learned and took pieces of it for now. But sometimes we don't communicate what we see, you know what I'm saying, to understand. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I didn't know how to communicate with him and tell him, okay, well, yeah, I'm going through this and I'm letting you know that I done been through this, but I don't
Yeah.
know how to love you. You get what I'm saying? I can't understand your love language. I can't understand because I don't operate like that. In my mind, I come from women that are independent, don't need no man. We take care of our kids. We survive. You know what I'm saying? We make our own money. So being,
Yeah.
you know, subjected to somebody to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm going to be your helpmate and not take control is a difference. And so I got all this built up in me and I'm belittling him. You know what I'm saying? Even though I love him and I'm like, oh, this is my husband, this is my husband. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, everything that I done been through because I'm married to him is different now. You get what I'm saying? I'm healed now. I'm approved now. You get what I'm saying? And so I walked around with a mask on, you know,
Mm-hmm.
saying and showing that I'm happy when I'm miserable inside. But my husband, I can't communicate with my husband because I don't know how to communicate with him. And he don't know
Yeah.
how to communicate with me. I can tell you what I went through, but I don't want to hurt you for you to leave me. You get what I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
I don't want other people to know that I'm hurting because I don't want them to talk about me. So in this
Oh.
point of our marriage, we're newlyweds, you know what I'm saying? But we don't understand each other and we don't know how to communicate for us each other to understand. And then not only that, you know, we're talking at each other, but we're not listening.
Jesus.
So
Mm.
after that, you know, we got pregnant. Neither one of us thought we could have it. Well, I had a baby, but they told me I couldn't have a baby anymore after her. Because
Yeah.
I had a miscarriage and I bled out. And so they said
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have anymore. He thought he couldn't
Yeah.
have any kids. So we got pregnant with our first son, Junior. He would have been, what, 14 this year? 14 this year. And we were arguing, feuding, fighting, you know, but we played the role in church. Like we were happy because this is
Yeah.
what we thought this is what it was supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? What stays at home, what goes on at home, stay at home. You know, but we
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
feel like we were comfortable enough to tell anybody, okay, we're going through. So when we lost our son, that's really was the beginning of our split. But we faked it until we made it. You get what I'm saying? But we really didn't make it nowhere. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we got pregnant. We had our baby. His birthday is July 5th. He's buried down in Mountville. And so after that, I feel like we split. Well, we didn't physically split, but we spiritually and mentally split.
I emotionally, when we lost our son, I emotionally checked out of the marriage. I was there
Mm-hmm.
physically, but mentally and emotionally, I had checked out because I was having a hard time deciphering. Okay, God, I just gave my life to you. I just gave my heart and soul to you.
Mm-hmm.
How can you take away something that you know that I wanted so bad?
Right.
And
Mm.
so I became angry with God. I was confused and angry with God because I just didn't understand how could you do this to me? And
Yeah.
so I put up an emotional wall where, like I say, I mentally and emotionally checked out of the marriage. What she
Mm.
needed from me at that time, I couldn't give her. She just needed a shoulder to cry on.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't give that to her.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to
Cope with it.
cope with it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so
Yeah.
I filled my schedule up with work, because I was always taught as a man, chin up, chest out, never show your emotion, just you keep going.
Right.
Don't you let them see you break.
Right.
And that's so unhealthy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now here we are in our marriage. We're dealing with the death of our son. Not only the death of our son, I was on probation for when I got locked up in Greenville. We had got evicted out of our house because I had to make a choice on whether paying my PO or paying rent.
Right.
And so we had to send our oldest child out to go stay with Donje mom while me and her stayed in a crack house. Right. And so now we got all these, I got all these problems going on in my head, trying to figure out our car broke down. We need a car. We need a house. My wife pregnant. My older child having to live somewhere else because of our living arrangements. And so I start to feel less than a man. And so instead of reaching out to people to get advice on what to do, I became closed off. I became closed off. I closed off. And then when we lost Junior, it was just like, and I tell you to this day, I strongly believe a piece of me left with him when he left, because I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to adjust after that, and that went on for a long period of time. And we went through some trials there, and we ended up meeting a couple that had a very strong marriage ministry. They kind of helped us try to mend that brokenness right there.
Yeah.
That you can only put on. And one thing me and her learned is you can only put on, until you deal with the root, you can only put on the front for so long.
That's it.
And so what we did was we put on the front, okay, I'm over it, you're over it, I'm here, you here, but we never dealt with the root. And so here we are now, pregnant with Noah.
Right.
Here we are now, pregnant with Noah. And we still going through some things within the marriage. But like she said, we didn't know, we was under the impression that what goes on at home,
stay at home.
Stay at home. You don't bring everybody to your business. You don't reach out for help. You just figure that out on your own. And so when we had Noah, I felt as if I had fell back in love with her. But I realized I didn't fall back in love with her. I fell in love with finally getting my son.
Yeah, okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
it does, yeah.
I'm telling myself, girl, I just fell back in love with you. But now I realized during that time that at the time we both would tell you, we had fell out of love with each other. It was at that point in our marriage where we were faking the phone, because you got to think, you lose your house, you lose your car, you lose a child. That's a lot on a young couple.
And we're blaming each other.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We played the blame game. We pointed the finger at each other.
Right.
And so that was a lot, because all that happened in the first 2 years. So that was a lot within the first 2 years, you're supposed to still be honeymooning.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going through
warfare.
You see what I'm saying? And we had fell out of love with each other. And so we thought with having our with our son Noah, that would rekindle our love for each other.
Yeah.
But all it did was if it filled that void of us losing our son.
But I'm gonna say this: it filled his void for losing our son. It never felt. It didn't feel mine, because when I had Noah, it was more like it was his son, and it wasn't mine. but I wanted to have a baby so bad for him to love
Yeah.
me. So it took me
Mm-hmm.
back to my childhood of rejection. It took
Mm-hmm.
me back. I thought you married me and I'm healed now and you're gonna change my world. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna have this white picket fence and this godly husband. And it was all picture perfect outside.
Mm-hmm.
But inside,
Mm-hmm.
he blamed me for the death of our son. He wasn't there. It was all about work and church, work and church. And because he dealt with the rejection of his father and whatever else in his life, he had to prove himself in the church world. He had to prove himself on his job. And it left me with nothing. But I still had to put that face on, like, hey. But in reality, I was dying. I was alone. I was rejected. I didn't feel vulnerable to him. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just lonely. So it took me back to homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first time that, we had infidelity in our marriage. Because if you don't want me, somebody else will. But
Oh
I don't want to
yeah.
go to the point of sleeping with a man. I'm just gonna deal with a girl because it ain't that bad. That's my mental. And then
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
I felt bad about it, and I came to him, and I was like, I messed up, and he thought I was playing, but in reality, I wasn't. And I was like, but I felt alone. You wasn't here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't talk to me. You don't caress me. We were barely sleeping together, and when we did sleep together, it was just to make a baby.
Jesus. So that, yeah, you made you feel like it took the love out of it. And
Right.
what you just said from the beginning is the main reason why you loved him and you had so much adoration for him is because he
Right.
loved you like nobody else had loved you before. So you
Right.
appreciated that and you held on to it. But then when the trials came, from which y'all saying the trials came, it just began to shake that love or that foundation that you both once had. And especially with losing a child, that is something very, very severe, and everybody do handle it in so many other emotions. And I was just, even when Benjuane was telling me about the first beginning, I was like, dang, men, their mind is, we are so emotional, but men, they don't have the emotional for it. It's just that go, 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 and just,
Right.
they got feelings, they feel emotions, but at the same time, they're wired totally different from us. So you wanted to see him break down and cry because you were breaking down and crying and you were hurting. Your hurt was visible. His was
Right.
more of a, I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna push it in, because it go back to even him as a child. What did he say?
Chin
Chin,
up.
chin up, chest, chin up,
Yep.
chest. Ain't that something?
Yep. You know,
Y'all, that
just
is
that.
crazy. Sometimes the things that are given to us or the things that are said to us or the things that mold us, it causes us to go back to those very things. So you went back and he went back too. So go ahead, y'all. Sorry, that was just, oh my goodness. Okay.
So I guess we're gonna fast forward a little
Yeah,
bit.
we'll fast forward. So here we are now. Trying to think. Okay,
Y'all,
so we was there.
is know
But
the
after
point.
I had the grand idea to renew our vows.
Yeah.
We renewed our vows because I wanted to get his attention again. I thought, if I refresh everything, maybe he'll fall back in love. I done had 2 kids by this man now, other than our son that passed. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
if I renew my vows, I finally have my dad to come down here. He walked me down the aisle, I worked so hard, getting everything together, had my bridesmaid, everything, because we had like something simple the first time at a park. So I was like, I actually get my grand wedding, maybe he'll, see me again. He cried, had beautiful, vows and all that to go back to the same thing.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And I was so hurt, so hurt.
Yeah, we went on a 5-day cruise.
Mm-hmm.
We went on a 5-day cruise, and I got so seasick that I slept the whole entire time. And she was upset because she wanted to spend time with me.
Right.
And so we come back home, and it's like we're back in the same place.
Right.
We're back feeling the same emotions. And so we thought that by renewing our vows, that would kind of rekindle some things.
It did.
But it didn't though. And that goes back to, you got to deal with the root of things.
Right.
You got to deal with the root of things.
Right.
And so here we are now, renewed our vows.
Heavy in church.
I'm getting ready to get licensed as a minister. And so everything's looking good on the outside.
Right.
Yes.
Everything's looking picture perfect on the outside.
Right.
But behind closed doors,
we fighting.
Everything is on
arguing. Fire. My oldest daughter is running away. She's trying to kill herself. DS says, you name it. Vandalized car. My daughter's running away. Me and her fighting. Me and him fighting. All that.
Wow.
At the time, I told her, listen, we got to get this together because I'm getting ready to get licensed. Like, I'm not going to let y'all stand in the way of that.
Right.
That was my exact words to her. And so I remember that day, man, I got licensed, and it's like, excuse my French, all hell broke loose again in my house.
Right.
That's when things took a major turn for us. Well, things really just kind of shifted for me and her.
Right.
I was so caught up in church.
Right.
Again, I done got licensed, blase. I'm preaching, just that and the other. And here she is again, need my undivided attention. And my train of thought, man, I work, I done bought you this house. You know, I put us in the house, I bought us a house. What more do you want from me?
Right.
Oh, wow.
Because I was brought up with the understanding, which now I got a better understanding, that the way I was raised, that me and you just provide. That's it. You go to work, you pay the bill. That's all you got to do. And now I see, now this second time around, that ain't the case. But we're still on the first time. And so I felt like, I'm paying these bills. I know about you a house. Why are you doing this? Like, you see I'm moving forward in ministry. Like, why you just can't get on board with me? And so that's when round 2 happened.
Yeah.
Round 2 of infidelity happened.
Yep.
And so that one was a lot different than the first one. Because this one, she came to me one night and she was like, before it even happened, let me backtrack. Before it even happened, she came to me and said, babe, I'm dealing with the spirit.
Right.
And, my exact words to her was, okay, well, deal with it. You in church, slaying demons and casting out demons and praying intercessory prayer. I mean, go ahead and get that thing up off you, girl. You know what to do. And
why you laughing?
And so what I didn't know at that time was when she came to me and told me that as her husband and her covering, I had abandoned her and left her in the wilderness.
Right.
Because here she is. Yeah, I'm doing all this in church, but now I got the urges that I can't fight on my own.
Right.
And that's my husband. I need you to cover me and pray for me.
Yeah.
But at that time, I really wasn't equipped enough to fight like that,
right.
if that makes sense. Now
Yes.
he want to try that. I mean, he want to try that now. Come on, Joe. We can go toe to toe now. Cause listen, I'm well equipped to go toe to toe. I'm well equipped to go to war with you.
Right.
But at that time I wasn't, and so I abandoned her and left her in the wilderness to fend for herself.
Right.
And so
yeah.
everything that she was looking for, a girl gave it to her. And so that was how long that went on? That was a long process. That was
a year and a half.
Yeah, year and a half. I actually packed up and I moved to Florida.
Right.
I moved to Florida. I took a job in Florida. Again, didn't know that by me uprooting and leaving, that I put her back in a place of abandonment. Didn't know on hindsight now that now my son is dealing with abandonment, because for the first 6 years of his life, he used to see his daddy every day.
Right.
Now daddy not coming home.
Right.
Daddy over 500 miles away.
Right.
I'm having to talk to daddy through the phone.
Right.
And so now he's dealing with his own emotions and stuff.
Right.
And so I remember I was down in Florida. Again, me and her, we're at each other's throat. That's when I had I knew my apostle, but I wasn't up under her leadership. You get what I'm saying? I remember me and her having a conversation. She said, "What's more important to you?" Because I took the job for the money. And she said, "What's more important to you? Providing for your kids or being a father to your kids?" And at that time, it blew me away, because a lot of times we think providing is being a father. You can provide for your father. I mean, you can provide for your kids and not be a good father. You see, I didn't know that until she told me that, and I sat there and I was like, wow. And so I told her, I said, man, I'm going to go on a fast. And she did something that nobody's ever done for me. She said, you know what? I'm going to go on a fast with you, because I want you to hear from God. And that time right there, you got to think, she didn't have to go on that fast with me. Right. I'm pretty sure everything was good, going good in her life. Right. But the fact that you would take the time out to fast with me and meet me in a place of brokenness, it spoke volume to me. Right. And so about a week later, I remember Donje calling me that Saturday. That's that time when COVID had hit and they were sending out them checks. And so she was like, the check came, I can't cash it because it's paid to both of us. Right. I said, all right, I'm on my way. Now, granted, I was staying in Florida. I'm a Tampa Bay fan. This was the year that Tampa Bay had won the Super Bowl.
We ain't gonna go down that road.
The Super Bowl was in Tampa that Sunday. Right. And you gonna call me on a Saturday, right, and say, I need to come to Greenville. Right. And so I said, okay, man. I didn't know what God was getting ready to do, though. Right. And so I got to Greenville that Sunday. We went to my leader now, Apostle Natasha Mayer, her and her husband, Pastor Jonathan Mayer. We went to their church that Sunday night. It was snowing. Well, it had snowed that Sunday morning, but it all was cleared up. And she had something to text you like, well, we're going to move our service back to that afternoon. And so I was just going just to get a word, because I couldn't find nowhere in Florida, you see what I'm saying, that felt like home. You see what I'm saying? So we went to church that Sunday together, me, her, and the kids. And I remember sitting there, and I heard the Lord speak saying that this is where you need to be. But I didn't tell nobody that. I was like, okay. And so one of the prophets that's there sent me a message that night and said, man of God, God is calling you to Kayak the River. I said, that's funny because I heard the same thing, but we'll discuss that on a later date. And so at that time, I had every attention on cashing that check, splitting it down the middle, and going back to Florida that Monday. Something happened between that Sunday and that Monday where I was like, I'm not going back. And so we decided to, because at that time, me and Donje was separated.
Right.
We were separated. We had decided to try to give this thing one more chance. And so we got back together. Again, if you don't deal with the root of things, you're going to always put on this persona.
Right.
And so we had actually started going through marriage counseling where we was dealing with those roots. But again, I wasn't equipped to battle in the spirit realm with her. Because you got to think, she's still dealing, if I'm not mistaken, she's still dealing with them urges of homosexuality. And so, you know, we split again. This time it's for real. We split, you know, we filed for divorce.
I move out.
She moved out. We had to sell the house that we bought together. So I had to move back in with my parents, start all over again. Papers get served, divorce get drawn up. We get a divorce, and so here we are. Here I am now, dealing with all these other emotions, like, you know, I fail, I'm a failure, so on and whatnot. And so, me and her, we got a divorce. We went our separate ways. And during that time, that's when I really clinged to my pastor at that time. And I really just clinged to him hard. Just out of the blue. Like, I just started calling him on a regular basis out of the blue when I was going through that. And one thing that I admire about my pastor, and now I'm gonna kind of try to speed, 5 years? We're gonna try to fit 5 years into one big turnaround.
Right.
Like, we're gonna fit everything in what happened, the divorce, and how we got back here. And so I clinged to my pastor, and he just began to pour into me. And what stood out was he never judged me.
Right.
He never, don't get me wrong now, he corrected me a lot in our phone conversations, but he never judged me. Like, he always poured into me. And I began to just pick his brain about stuff because him and his wife been married, I think, 30-something years. Close to 30-something years. So who was better to learn from than someone that's been married for a very long time? They know been through almost every storm. You got in 30 years, they probably have been through almost any obstacle it is to go through. And so I began to pick his brain. You know, what did you do? How did you get there? Blase, blase, blase. And then even at that time, you know, Donje had met someone. She was in a relationship with someone.
It was a guy.
I had met someone. I had met someone. It got serious with us. And I remember the day before our divorce court, Donje had a flat tire. And she came to me and she said, Benjuane, I want to reconcile the marriage. But at that time, again, I haven't done with the root. I was dealing with, I was reacting to emotions. And my exact words to her were, no, you thought the grass was green on the other side, so you need to stay on that side.
Right.
Because you don't get to think you can go experience the other side. Then once you see the other side is full of crap, you want to come back over here. Now we're not operating like that.
Right.
And so I had got into a serious relationship, I had got engaged to someone, and at that time, one of the house prophets had told me, "Hey man, you need to go on a fast.
Right.
You know, you need to go on a fast. You need to pray." And you know, at that time, my pastor was telling me, you know, because all this happened fast. Like me and Donje got divorced in
May 2022. He got engaged August 19, 2022, and he got married April Fool's 23.
Yeah.
I know the dates.
Yeah. And so all this happened, boom, boom, bam. And my pastor was telling me, man, you know, they're like, Diesel, I really think you need to slow down, take some time to yourself, and heal. Like I think you're moving too fast. But again, Benjuane hard-headed now. Benjuane gonna do what Benjuane wanna do. And so even after that, like I said, one of the house prophets told me, man, you need to go on a fast. I went on a fast, and I heard the Holy Ghost as clear as day tell me to wait. But I went on that fast in January. I heard from him in February. We supposed to get married in April. Everybody don't got their tuxes and so on and whatnot. And so I ignored the voice of God and went forth with it. And this is what happens when you're not healed and emotionally mature. Because here I am still hurt and not healed. And so I made a choice to marry someone else and enter into their life and turn their life upside down. You see what I'm saying? And, you know, even though that wasn't my intention, because one thing my apostle told me is you're not judged off your intentions, you're judged off your actions. And so even though my intentions was one thing, my actions showed another. And so me and this person, we got married, you know, and once we got in the house together, it was just a lot of different things that was just conflicting, in other words. And so what happens when you have a trauma bond, because the relationship was built off of, well, if you don't cheat on me and I don't cheat on you, we'll be good. And so what connected us was our trauma. And so what happens in a trauma bond, usually one person tries to heal and one person tries to go somewhat stay the same or so on and whatnot. Right. And so as time progressed, it was just things started rising up one behind another. And so in March of 24, I made the decision to leave because we just had differences that we couldn't reconcile on. We just couldn't reconcile these differences because I wasn't willing to give up something to satisfy you. That's what I wasn't gonna do. I wasn't gonna give up something to satisfy you. And so I decided to leave. And even during that process, I went through my issues with it. And again, back to my pastor. Man, my pastor, he was never, like, he always encouraged me and poured into me. And he just always told me, like, man, you know, you're gonna be all right, man. You know, you just gotta pick yourself up. You know, you gotta heal. Right. He said you move too fast. You really need to take the time and heal. Like, heal. And so when I left there, I really took my healing seriously. And so I started back seeing my therapist on a regular basis. I didn't start back. I just really started keying in with my pastor more on a one-on-one level, you know, picking his brain, you know, because I learned a lot. Not only did I learn how to be a husband, I learned how to be a father from that man. I learned how to just be a man of God in general for him. You get what I'm saying? And so he really just, he drive trucks like I do. And so it was a lot of them early mornings while everybody sleep, me and him on the phone, he pouring it to me. He pouring it to me, you know, he telling me, you know, what it's going to take to make a marriage work. What does a good husband look like? What does how a godly man carry himself? You know, how a good father carry himself. And so the more he began to pour into me, the more I began to listen to him and my therapist, I began to heal the little boy in Benjuane.
Right.
Because one thing my therapist always tell me, you got to heal the little boy so the grown man can live. Because over 85% of men issues come from childhood trauma.
Right.
And so until you deal with the childhood trauma, you're never going to be able to fully experience what it is to be a man.
Right.
And that's something not only my therapist taught me, but like I said, my pastor taught me too. And so I began to visit them dark, secret places. I began to uproot them and deal with them on a one-on-one basis. And so in the process of that, I didn't know that Donje was doing the same thing too. You know, she's going through her healing stage and doing what she got to do to work on her. And so here we are now, just co-parenting.
Right.
We're just co-parenting.
Right.
And within co-parenting, the friendship got rebuilt.
Right.
And so that's when I realized, hold up, man. I'm telling myself, man, you tripping. You and Donje, y'all ain't getting back together. Like, out of all y'all done been through, you mean to tell me you going back? And so I went on a 30-day, November 18th of last year, I went on a 30-day consecration. Didn't tell nobody about it. Just me and God, 30 days. And on Thanksgiving, I realized on Thanksgiving, you know how you have that time at the house when it's just the family there, like everybody that visit, they coming and going. Then you just got that brief moment where it's just the people there. And I remember sitting in her rocking chair, kids running through the house, and I said, okay, this is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. And I remember telling her, I said, hey, we was on the phone, and I was like, what do you think about reconciling our marriage? She said, what? I said, what do you think about us reconciling our marriage? And she said, Benjuane, I never stopped loving you.
Oh.
I just didn't know how to love you because I didn't know how to love myself.
Right.
And she said, I'm not the same person that you married in 2012. And I said, well, I'm not the same person that you married in 2012 either. You know, I've grown tremendously. And so even though we decided to start back, you know what I'm saying, getting back together, we had to go back and revisit those dark places. You get what I'm saying? We had to go back and revisit and have conversations and deal with it and deal with the root of it. And so we dated in private, and I remember her telling me she was having a birthday coming up, and she was having a birthday party. And I said, no, we just gonna get married on your birthday. We just gonna pop out married on your birthday. We just gonna pop out married, and we ain't gonna tell nobody. We just gonna let it be, and we'll deal with the backlash of that after the fact.
Right.
And so now here we are, as they say, Mcgee 2.0.
Yeah.
Man, it's so different now though. Like we tell each other on a regular basis, man, it's just different this time because we're both healed. We got better communication skills.
We old.
We got better communication skills. And one thing my pastor told me, he said, man, you're going to have to do what you did to get them, you got to do to keep them. You're going to have to romance. You're going to have to date her. You're going to have to learn her love language and all of that right there, which when we got married in 2012, I didn't care about all that. Again, all I cared about, well, I'm providing for you. That should be good enough. But now it's like every day I think we re-fall in love with each other.
And get on each other.
And get on each other's nerves.
Well, that's you know, to be expected, you know, because any relationship you gonna get on each other's nerves. I don't think there is ever gonna be a perfect relationship, but I do think that it's just growing and being able to develop. But I just think that it's just a beautiful testament of the challenges and the things that you endure, but you experience that we can say for your first 10 years, y'all separated, but when you separated, when you got healed, the little boy inside you got healed, and the little girl in her was getting healed, and then y'all came back together, but when y'all came back together, y'all came back with even better communication with each other, better understanding, better appreciation, you know, and even the part of you with somebody else and her dating somebody else, in both of the relationships will rebound relationships in the trials and the tribulations that come out of, you know, rebound relationships, but y'all still navigated back to each other. Y'all still came back to each other. So that is just the clear statement that, you know, it's not easily marriage is not easily broken when God is in the midst of it, and you loved him just as much as he loves you, and y'all love still came back. But the healing and the deliverance part was the most pivotal but important part of it, to coming back to each other, but being good.
My thing was with me was, you got to keep in mind, I was in a relationship and then I got pregnant with my son, my 2-year-old, during this process. So God had to get me to a place of isolation. And so I had to be isolated. And so it was just, I couldn't do nothing. I'm pregnant. You get what I'm saying? I'm big pregnant. So I'm at home, you know, I had an apartment then. I moved from one place to another, and I'm in this house all day with just me and my kids. And so it got to the point that I'm like, okay, God, fix on me, because I'm tired of being broken. And when he got engaged to his ex and all that, you know, I was hurt, even though I did everything that I did. You get what I'm saying? It was just a cause and effect. Well, you did this to me because we did tit for tat. You get what I'm saying? You hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you. Or I'm gonna hurt you first before you hurt me. You know, and so I went through a lot watching him go through that process. You know, the biggest thing for me, which was my turnaround, because I hated him after we divorced. Like, I hated the ground that he walked on and everything. My son, our son Noah, you know, tried to commit suicide. And I was like, I'm not losing another child. I'm not losing another child. And so, you know, I first, you know, even though he was married and everything, I came to him and I said, listen, I'm not losing another child. I need you to be a father to your son. I need him to understand that even though we're not together, we still love each other. We might not be in love with each other. We might be going through two different situations, but they didn't ask to be here, and we wanted them. And we need to act like we still love them. You get what I'm saying? And that was our first turning point. I feel like that was God, you know, saying, okay, listen, y'all need to tighten up. So I take something else from y'all. You get what I'm saying? And so then we wasn't close, but you know, if something happened, it wasn't an argument. It wasn't fighting, because we were fighting before all this. You know what I'm saying? Because I was hurt. He was hurt. You know, even though he was in a relationship, I just got out of a relationship, and I'm emotionally, because I'm pregnant, you know, and I had to watch him go down the aisle and stuff, and it broke me. You know what I'm saying? It broke me, but I didn't want to go back to the same cycle. Okay, I'm gonna find somebody else to fill the void. No, God, I need you to fill this void. You know, I don't want to take my kids through this ongoing cycle. I need you to feel me. I need you to heal me that I can love myself regardless if a man is here or not. I can love myself and I can love my children and I can persevere through this storm. And so that's what
Yeah.
I learned. And you know, when he, you know, did the transition from, you know, being married to separated, you know, I just try to encourage him just as well as somebody encouraged me. You know what I'm saying? Through my transition of watching him going through that because it was hurting. We've been together since we were 24 and 25 years old. This is all I knew. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though we hurt each other, this is all I knew. So to watch
Yeah.
him be with somebody else and vice versa, it had to be hurting for him, just like it was hurting for me. And then to
Yeah.
get tormented during the process also because I'm the first wife and because I am the mother of his children and have to watch the other side. He's telling his side, but on my side, I had to watch my kids cry at night. I had to ask, you know, answer the questions of, well, why you and daddy didn't work? Why he choosing them over me? You know what I'm saying? And I had to deal with it. And mentally, sometimes I couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to speak. And at that time, I felt like I had nobody to call because everybody that we were close to divided. Either they was on his side or they was on my side. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had nobody to come to and say, help me. I don't know why I'm feeling this. I got mixed feelings because I love him, but I'm not in love with him. He hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I hurt him. And I feel like this is the end. It'll never happen. So when he came to me and was like, okay, let's do this again. I was healed. I was ready to receive it. But the first time, and I understood why he wasn't ready to receive it the first time, because neither one of us was still here. I was just trying to go back to what I was used to. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, you know, for now, you know, and I know everybody's like, how in the world they like this now? And my thing is, I always tell him, I said, we are a resemblance of unconditional love
Mm-hmm.
when it comes down to God, not us,
Yeah.
but just the fact that nothing's too big for God. Nothing's too big
Look.
for God. I hated his good. He hated my goods. You
Yes.
know, for us to be here is just, it's mind blowing. We'll be married 3 months on Saturday.
Woo!
I feel like I've been married to him 22 years. You get what I'm saying?
And I was able to just so y'all know, I caught the bouquet at the wedding, so everybody know I got it in a very specific place, so I see it every day. But I just want y'all to know I caught the bouquet.
It died.
We've been on that thing that long.
Yes, and
No, I still see y'all.
Good.
Still see y'all. Well, hopefully, sorry y'all, they'll be able to come back in. They their device looked like it had died while they were on live. So we'll see if they come back in, but it's still a powerful story of love and the challenges that you have. And sometimes, yes, things do happen and they do happen and they pull us away from each other but God still has the final say of how things go. And thank God that they got healed and she got healed and he got healed and she was able to receive him back as her husband because God still was not finished with them yet. He still wanted them to be able to continue their union because they actually wasn't done with each other yet. So I think that's the most beautiful thing. And I see y'all in the comment section. I didn't get to go by everybody. Evangelist, that's true. You said Mama always said stay out of married folks' business. You ain't got no business commenting on what married folks got to, especially if you ain't married yourself. And that is the show enough truth right there. And hold on, y'all. We just waiting on them. And Kwasi said, congratulations. Thank you because they had a beautiful wedding. I had enjoyed myself. I tried to cut a little two-step and couldn't remember a two-step, but I still enjoyed myself because I'm going to dance. I'm going to dance. I'm going to have me a good time. Hey, that's one thing I'm going to do. Prophetess Stephanie Loudon said, congratulations. Hold on, y'all. I'm just seeing if they coming back, if they're able to come back in. Yeah, Minyata, Sister Minyata said, thank you for sharing y'all love story. Yes, it's beautiful. And Apostle said, powerful testimonies. Yes, the God be the glory. Yes, they testified the show enough truth on both of their parts, and it's so very, very inspiring to hear a woman's part and a man's part, and sometimes how we have separate things that we think and separate things that we go through, but still the same exact thing, just different outcomes and different ways it is. I'm trying to wait, y'all, and just talk in, but if not, if they look like their device had completely died, and I don't want to prematurely shut it out before they let me see. I'm here, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we thank the Mcgees for telling us their story and testifying on tonight. And I guess we can go ahead and close it out. I wanted to wait, but we can hold on, y'all. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close it on out, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and close it on out, and we say, like I say every time, I thank Minister Benjuane and I thank Minister Donje for testifying that truth. I appreciate them. They gave me some hope and inspiration. And just so y'all know, again, y'all know I caught that bouquet. Y'all know it. I caught the bouquet at the wedding. Yeah, was so excited about that. But again, thank y'all for tuning in to Soaring Above It All with Laquanza. Where the Soaring Above It All is always going to be the statement that no matter what we go through and no matter what we face, that we can truly come out of it on the other side of anything, y'all. It just y'all just heard the testimony on tonight that all of the things and all of the things that they experienced, they came out of it. So we're going to close it out with our song that we close it out with, and it goes, soaring above it all, soaring above it all, yes you are. Good night, everybody. We love you. We hope we get to see you next month for our our anniversary month. Woo!